What's up, everybody? Werner von Wallenrod back with my second driving vlog installment. It's sort of a phenomena that you see in all genres of music. I see it in hip-hop and people kind of talk about it and question it. I guess the main point where you see it come up these days is random rap and the success of quote-unquote random rap. Is basically any rap record where it's sort of like an old rap record where you've never heard of the guy before. It's probably a one-hit wonder. Maybe he's done 2 or 3 12 inches, but he's certainly not a established artist. And usually it's kind of considered random because the rap record, probably not at the time, but since then, has gone quite up in value. It's become sought after, and so to anyone who's sort of not a hardcore rap collector, will be looking at a eBay auction or whatever, Yahoo Japan, and be like, why is this going for like $200? I've never heard of this guy. He's out of the blue. He's nothing. It's so random. But what this is about is sort of the success of random rap, and not necessarily just random rap, but also some old school artists who maybe got really overlooked at the time, who people are kind of going back and discovering, and why they were overlooked. What you see today, and what you saw in the 80s and 90s, and what you see in lots of other genres of music, is a lot of people, especially music journalists, obviously always want to be on the cusp of what's new and different, and what's coming up and what's the next fad. And again, like I said, you saw this all the way back to the beginning of recorded music. You'd see, like, Bing Crosby was a great singer when Frank Sinatra came out, because he had sort of a different style that separated him from all the other singers. He blew up. Because you had a lot of other, orchestra singers, like, I can't think of his name, but whoever sang with Roy Fox, even the British bands, you had people like the Henry Hall Orchestra, you had Irving Aaronson and his Commanders, you had all these people who, and some of them were really quite good, but they often didn't really sound so amazingly different from each other. I mean, certainly, they all had their unique takes on the song, but if you really loved a song like, say, Makin Whopee, and you had, once you got one good cover of it by, say, Irving Aaronson, like, okay, you like that one, you got that one, you don't really need to hear Henry Hall's, because it's not going to be all that different, what I mean? Like, the arrangement will be a little different, it's a different orchestra, it's a different singer, but once you got singers like, say, Billie Holiday, whose voice was totally, out there at the time, and is still, of course, a very signature, even if you don't really know classic 20s and 30s music, if you've heard Billie Holiday's voice, you'd be like, oh, okay, it's her. I know her immediately. And so she became hugely popular. And not without reason. It's a great voice. She did some great covers. I'm not dismissing Billie Holiday, but I think that what you get is when you kind of go back and rediscover that genre, is Billie Holiday so much better than Irving Aaronson and his Commanders, who didn't achieve nearly the fame of her? Well, no. And a lot of those artists, frankly, I think, did it better. They really excelled at it. They just weren't going out to be incredibly different. They were just sort of doing things in the same vein as everyone else. I mean, hit the music and just do it a little bit better than the last person. To bring it back to hip hop now, that's sort of what you saw in a lot of random rap and stuff. If you go back and you look at who's really blew up and who was getting the cover of Source magazine and just really crossover. I don't want to say crossover, because it's not about who escapes hip-hop and appeals to other genres, although there's that too. It's about who blows up within hip-hop to hip-hop fans. You look at people like Redman, Das Effects, Eminem, like each one who came out being pretty wildly different. Now, if you look at the really huge successful random rap records, you look at Ron B, Stitch by Stitch, you look at Unique, you look at all of them, many of them, 360 Pelon. Even if you look at maybe not quite the major, massive random raps, but sort of underground artists that still carry a lot of weight to those who are sort of more in the know, like Finsta Bundy. None of them came out radically different. You look at, if you're not really familiar with Finsta Bundy, you can listen to a song by him that you haven't heard before and not know it's Finsta Bundy. If he never says his name in the song, there's no reason to say, oh, that's Finsta Bundy. It could be Finsta Bundy, or it could be sort of one of a bunch of other artists who kind of came from the same region around the same period and were making similar songs. One thing you probably would think, though, is that that's a good song, because he's a talented guy, and he did some great stuff. But you wouldn't immediately, oh, boom, it's him. Eminem, especially when he was first coming out, before so many kind of Eminem ripoffs jumped on the scene. You know, you heard an Eminem song, you said, oh, that's Eminem. When EPMD first came out, no question, that was EPMD. You know, Nice and Smooth first came out, no question, that was Nice and Smooth. Now, is Greg Nice or Smooth B a better rapper than all the other rappers in their period? Or, you know, I mean, to have sort of excelled so much? Maybe, maybe not. You know, I would say no, although I think Smooth B has kind of came into his own as a... But the point is, the reason why they stood out much more was because they were different and unique. That whole thing of very disparaging voices and, you know, their styles, that's what got people's attention, that's what sold. Now, a lot of people say, oh, that's record labels, you know what I mean? And it's true, it absolutely is record labels. A&Rs are always looking for who's different. Record labels are always looking to promote who's different. They're always looking for a hook. They're not necessarily saying, oh, who's the best MC. They're saying, oh, well, who's the easiest to sell. Just like a record label might grab a female MC who's not so talented if she's gorgeous, you know? So it is record labels, but it is also fans, absolutely. It's everyone. It's record labels because it's fans. When you were in the 80s and you hear all these records that now, like more obscure records, you say, oh, this guy is just sort of, you know, kind of reminiscent of all these other groups. So you say, oh, well, okay. It's just sort of generic and I'm not that excited about it. And so records kind of came and went under the radar. And then 20 years later, you got people kind of really going back and listening to everything. You got DJs trying to come up with, well, what's an obscure song I could put in my mix CD that's really dope, but that nobody's ever heard before. And so obviously they're sort of now, you know, now everybody's familiar with all the basics, and they've all sort of been explored. They're looking for the more obscure stuff, and so they're finding stuff like the Unique and the Rumby, and the Pelon and all that. And people are sort of discovering, hey, these guys are at least as good as what was out there then. Like, these guys weren't worse than Redman. He was at least as good as Redman. In many cases, Random Rap was better. But he just never took off because he didn't have sort of a new gimmick or a new hook. So I think a thing for us to maybe look at, even now, we're looking at contemporary hip-hop or any other genre, if you're into another genre. But let's say hip-hop, because fuck all those other... But if you're into hip-hop, look at it. Look at sort of your... Look at what's motivating you to be caught up by an artist. You know, a lot of times why those hooks catch on is because people are watching the video once or twice and making snap decisions. So it's worth sort of examining, saying, well, is this an artist whose lyrics are intelligent or funny or whatever? Was his delivery really good? Is the instrumental maybe a little more complex, something I'm going to want to listen to more than 2 or 3 times? A lot of songs that catch on the radio, on the DJ circuit, etc., are something that has a really crisp, obvious hook. And those are the songs that are grating and annoying after you've heard them 3 or 4 times. And when you go to a club and you say, oh my god, not this fucking annoying song, and God knows anyone who's in New York in the 90s remembers when songs like Who Dat caught on, or, you know, the Hard Knock Life, and you're listening to that fucking Annie sample over and over, and it's so annoying. And I mean, God bless him, it was a 45 King produced that, and it was his comeback track. And JT Money too. I mean, he's sort of an underrated Miami artist, and he finally blew up in New York, but with the most annoying who, you know, and just over and over, and you just be walking around the streets and be coming out of radios and people be saying it. And let's face it, that song was in no way, shape, or form one of his better songs. You know, I enjoy classic Poison Clan stuff, man. I'll bump that shit. But you won't catch me bumping Who Dat. So it's something to question. Are we buying music? When you're buying music now, is this something that's going to stand the test of time? Is this something that's... Ooh, I went dark. You know, is this really good music? Am I going to want to take this out 2 years from now and give it a spin and really enjoy it? Or am I going to be sort of like, wow, I can't believe I was into that 2 years ago? I mean, what the hell? If you like a stupid catchy song, buy a stupid catchy song. I'm not telling you nothing. But it's your money. And if you're buying records that you're going to listen to once or twice, it's worth saying, okay, who doesn't necessarily have the most immediate catchy hook? You know, whose video am I liking not because they're wearing a crazy outfit and have goofy glasses on, and the camera's all shot backwards, or some inane, catchy gimmick of music videos, but who's really just making a good song that I'm going to want to listen to and explore, and it's going to have something, you know, some rewarding, lasting value, whether it be the production, the lyrics, hopefully the combination of all of them. You know, get the random raps now, so you don't have to pay $200 for them online 5 years from now. Alright, peace out.